Good evening, everyone. I would like to present to you all a question. Can anyone here name me the three major eras of firefighting apparatus? If you said the hand-drawn era, the horse-drawn era, and the use of combustion engines, you are correct. Time never stops moving forward, and as humankind is about to make another major leap in technology with battery power and AI, let us look to our history and see how far our healthcare system has come along. Today we will be referencing the Los Angeles Fire Department, a very prestigious department that also keeps intricate detail of their progress since their founding. Today we will be discussing the three major eras of firefighting apparatus: the hand-drawn era, the horse-drawn era, and the use of combustion engines. Let us first start out with the oldest and original method of transport, that being the hand-drawn era. The hand-drawn era was the most crude and inefficient method. According to the Hall of Flame website, sponsored by the Phoenix Fire Department, the hand-drawn era originally started in 1725, and in order to move the thousands of pounds for the pump and equipment, 20 plus people were needed to move the apparatus. Another thing is that by the time that those 20 plus people would be getting to the scene of the fire, that most of them would be tired and out of breath. Though, as much of a disadvantage as those are, there were a few advantages as well. Some being that due to the initial response being so large, that they always had people on hand to help out with whatever was happening with the fire department at the fire. A second thing being is that there were plenty of employment opportunities with the fire department, being because of all the slots needed to pull the apparatus. Let us now move on to the next phase in history, which was the horse-drawn era. The horses then took the place of man, as they were a much more versatile tool. Horses were much more efficient with getting to the scene and replaced many jobs. According to the LAFD Archive Museum that is owned by the Los Angeles Fire Department, the horse-drawn era began in 1877, and the horses lived in the firehouse and were always ready to respond to a call. So there was no need to wait for 20 men to assemble. Something else is that horses have the capability of pulling the power of 10 men with one horse. So it was much easier to get to scenes faster due to their power and strength. Though they did have their disadvantages as well. One being that not every horse could be a fire horse. The horses had to be trained for years, and even if they were able to make it through all the training, they had to be strong enough to pull all the weight. They also had to be able to remain calm while surrounded by a blaze of fire. Although, as strong as they were, they did have the second disadvantage is that in the 1920s, which also led to their downfall, is that there was a equestrian influenza which led to the disabling or death of many of the fire horses all across the nation. Now let us leave behind those once strong steeds for the modern day combustion engine. The combustion engine has helped save millions of lives all around the globe today. The combustion engine allows for the rapid deployment of resources and personnel. For example, in the book Introduction to Fire Protection and Emergency Services, published November 2013, horses were eventually phased out in the 1920s for the modern-day combustion engine. Modern-day firefighters, which then allows modern-day firefighters to mobilize to fires and incidents in less than 60 seconds. Also, another thing that is a major benefit of using a combustion engine is that compared to a horse that requires years of training, using an engine requires mere hours instead. Although engines are a great tool, they too have their downsides. One of them being that engines are prone to failure, which then forces firefighters and fire departments all around the globe to have an additional fleet of apparatus for when they do fail. The second thing is that compared to the past and past methods, these complex machines need special mechanics in order to repair them. So technicians are needed to be hired. So those problems can no longer be fixed in-house. In conclusion, we learned today about the versatility and how that the fire department is always adapting to the modern trends and changes. We learned that it is always smart to learn from your history, as fools learn from their mistakes and the wise learn from the history of others. Thank you.